Hey Leo, and welcome to your monthly reading. So this is for the month of July 2023, and this is for, oh, I'm feeling that one. Nope, that one. I just saw it and I was feeling it. This is for Leo rising or sun signs. Which deck do I want to use for my Leos? I'm feeling a different deck. I'm feeling this deck. All right. So we're going to take a look at the progression of the month. So the beginning, middle, and end of the month. If you've never been here on my channel before, welcome. Thank you for being here. I do bi-weekly and monthly videos for tarot. And also I've just started putting out astrological highlights for the month. So you can find that on my channel under the playlist that says astrological highlights. So I will also have, on the day that these come out on the 1st, I will also have the first astrological highlight video for July out. So just know that that is there and will be there. Okay. Whew, I had a physical sensation when I touched that card, so I feel like that's going to be something that feels resonant for somebody out there. All right, let's take a look at what kind of challenge is coming up. I don't normally just go with like all of the ones that pop out, just so you know, if you've never been here before, that's not an always thing, but when I'm feeling it, I'm feeling it. And then just kind of what kind of spiritual advice we have coming through as well. Okay, so let me make sure that I get these all in frame for you guys. So as always, I am building this channel, so it's very helpful that if you find like that this is resonant for you, that you can, if you can please give the video a like as we go through, or subscribe if you haven't, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of the videos on the horizon, but also because it helps me as I'm building this channel. So thank you for all of you who have. I really do appreciate it. So let's get into this. What kind of theme do we have coming up that's kind of like the overarching theme for the month of July for you, Leo? And what we have showing up is transits, right? So, you know, in transitory space, things are changing and shifting, and we're moving from one space to another that does feel significant in some way. I like how they have this person in this kind of like fetal position, as though like there is this moving from one place and birthing themselves into another, right? And that's kind of what a transition or a transitory state is like. Now, like I said, I'm not going to go into a bunch of the astrological stuff that's going on this month, but I will mention that we do have the nodes, the north and south node, the lunar nodes are moving out of where they are now, where they've been for approximately 18 months, and they're moving into 2 new signs, so where they will stay for approximately 18 months. That's the approximate time they stay there. So they're moving into the Aries Libra axis. So that, talking about transits, that's going to be a shift for a lot of people. And so for some of you Leos out there, I think you're really going to be feeling this in an interesting way. Also, we have Venus has been in shadow, but it's going retrograde in your sign. So Venus is in Leo right now, and it's going retrograde in July. So we've been kind of like seeing what the themes are about, and now we're about to like actually hit the retrograde. And during that period of time, there are going to be a lot of things that are up for review in terms of our relationships and things of that nature. Like I said, I'm not going to go into it. And so this could be a very transitory part of your life and what you're experiencing. So now, it's not specific clearly to what area of life this is about, but we're going to get some more information as we dive into your month. So starting out the beginning of the month, we start out with the 4 of coins, move into the middle of the month with the Ace of Cups, and then we end it out with the 4 of Cups. The challenge cards that we have coming up is the Hermit card, and the advice that we have coming through for that is the Queen of Cups. So, you know, definitely like interesting. I'm getting like a feels kind of vibe here, but also having to do with like stability and clarity. Like, let's get into it. Definitely like the feels vibe is coming up. So not surprised with all of the cups that are showing up here. So let's start with the beginning part of the month, the beginning third of the month, which is the 4 of coins. So 4 of coins, I think that there is this like level of stability that you've been building towards, or that you've already achieved, and wanting to like really hold to that kind of stability or safety that you've you've accrued. Yes, this can be financial. This can also just be in general with like the tangible world, like with your physical living space or like your physical resources, like your food and your money and, you know, things of that nature. So yes, it can be very literal in that way. But also this can really just be about like how you have established a sense of stability, safety, grounding with certain people in your life, maybe with your friend groups or with a relationship or things that are with your job, right? Like things of that nature. So, and the thing that's interesting about the Four of Cups is that it's lovely because it's like, okay, I've reached this level of stability, it's level whatever it is, and like, I just want it to stay this way. I want it to stay the same. And that's the thing about life. Is that we're always in transition. And so you might feel maybe concerned about or some resistance and wanting to like hold on and hold tight to how things are and not wanting them to shift or change out of concern that it will destabilize the structure that you've built on, right? Because fours are a sense of like structure and stability as well. So there might be that concern that comes up, but just know that that's what's on deck for the beginning part of the month. And for some of you, maybe you haven't reached that level of stability, but you've been working towards it, right? It's something that you're wanting in your life, is that level of like, I just want to get to this level of stability and safety here, you know? And so whether you have that or not, it might feel concerning to have so much change happening, so much questioning happening, you know, during this particular month. And like I said, the astrology highlights videos are going to be coming out throughout July. So just know that if you want to stay up on that, like you'll probably want to, like I said, like, subscribe, hit the button, all the things, right? So then we move into the middle of the month and we have the Ace of Cups showing up for you. So, you know, just like wanting to believe and have faith, wanting to have like renewed hope, and wanting to be in this space. It's like, it's such beautiful, good feeling kind of energy. Oh, I just realized that the glare was, so you couldn't totally see it. I do love these types of decks. It's just sometimes with the lighting, it can be a little, I don't think you can see it very clearly. These cards are very busy anyhow. So yeah, so just like in the middle of the month, I feel like you're going to come into this place where it's like either your faith is tested and you're wanting to feel a sense of like hope and faith in like how things progress, or you're just feeling it. Like you're just in a space where you're like, no, I'm feeling like pretty like stable. I'm feeling like I've got hope and faith for the future and things look good and this is great. And that's awesome. Like, good on you. Like if you've got that going on, I'm happy for you. Like seriously, such a great place to be. We move into the last third of the month and we have the Four of Cups, right? I'm gonna say here, like with the progression of these cards, I think for some of you, it could be about complacency, and feeling like, oh, I've already got the stability. I feel hopeful. I've already got it. And like, just kind of maybe easing off the pedal a little too much where there's not enough gas to like really go. So needing to make sure that you're not in such a state of, you know, hope and faith and stability and feeling good about things that you just kind of like stop doing. So for some of you, I'm going to say that that's so. For others of you, I think that you're going to hit this maybe point of where things may not be looking or feeling the way that you're wanting them to. And especially for those of you maybe who are in a relationship and feeling like it's under review and under scrutiny, like maybe it doesn't look or feel the way that you want. And so the interesting thing about the Four of Cups that is, again, hard to tell with this particular deck is that, you know, usually you see this hand, like there are three cups in front of this person and there's a hand coming out from the side out of like the clouds, like out of the ether. And it's almost like your guides, whoever it is that you believe in, universe, whatever, deities, that they're trying to get you to see the gifts that you have and that there are more than what's just in front of you. And it's almost like you refuse to see or like you don't see what's there. And so with regard to like how things are unfolding, whether this is about the example I was giving, like a partner, right? Or your friend group or your career path or the way that your life is being built, I think that there's a need to like step back and like widen your perspective, like widen your gaze, so that you can actually see all of the things that are going well and all of the things that are working for you and all of the opportunities that are there and all of the things that really do feel good, and not take for granted some of the things that we have showing up earlier in the month, right? So those are the two things that are coming through for me with this, is that vibe of possible, complacency, feeling like maybe bored and not feeling like it's fulfilling, whatever this all is. And then also maybe just needing to step back and recognize like what is great about these situations that you have, like what is working, what can you be appreciative of, and widening your gaze so that you can see, so that it's in your periphery and you can actually see the gifts that are there for you, and so that you can work with them, so you can take advantage of those, right? With all of this, I think that there is perhaps, again, for those of you that are experiencing some resistance or not really like seeing things, but also if you're experiencing some resistance to things shifting and changing, that there is this resistance coming up with the challenge card, which is the Hermit. And so not feeling like you want to slow down and create some alone time and some space for you to go within. It's really interesting. Like so far, I think it's 3 signs so far I've had in my recordings that so far I've had the Hermit come up as the challenge card, and different decks, each one. So I feel like this is just kind of up for people right now, is that, because of not only the lunar nodes changing to the axis of like Aries and Libra, which has to do with self or relationships, right? And obviously it depends on what house it's occupying in your personal natal chart, but you think about the axis of that happening and how there might have, that would bring up maybe some instability, some questions, plus we have Venus retrograde on top of it, more questions, more reviewing of things. And I think that there's this, I'm starting to see maybe there's a collective kind of resistance to wanting to go inwards and ask ourselves these kinds of questions, right? Because who knows what we're going to see? What will we uncover or discover, or what's been kind of like nagging in the background that we're going to come full face with, right? But it is important for us to periodically come back to asking ourselves the big picture questions, so that our internal guidance light can be strong, right? Like that's what that lantern is meant to be, right? It's meant to be our internal guidance system, and knowing that we are our own quote unquote guru, we're our own guide. And so we need to be able to trust that, but we can't trust it if we never examine it and look at it. So when I say big picture questions, I mean like, is the life that I'm creating, that I'm laying tracks down for, still the life that I want to have for myself? Like, is what I wanted still what I'm wanting now? Has that changed in any way? And like sometimes we might feel like, but I've already been laying the tracks down in this direction, so I can't just like stop doing that. And the thing is like, yes, you can. At any point you can. We all can as human beings. We can decide. It might be like, oh man, I put all this time, energy, and attention in this direction, and now I'm going to change directions. But it's like, what sense would it make to continue to go in that direction just because you'd already been doing it for so long? When life is long, it's much longer than however much time you've put into whatever it is, right? So it's like, might as well shift, pivot, and start to create what it is that does feel like the direction that you want to go in. Often when we've created our goals, we, for our relationship, for where we want to live, for our career, for like the kinds of friends that we want to have, the kinds of conversations we want to have, like all who we want to be surrounded by, what kinds of things we want to be doing in our day-to-day life. Those things change and shift as we change and shift as human beings, as we grow. To continue to just go in a direction because it's what we've been doing is just madness. I'll just say it. It's madness. So it's important to pause and to ask ourselves these questions about our wants, our needs, our vision for the future, and the people in it as well. So that can feel kind of scary, and I could see that there, you know, would be some resistance to that. I would say like the advice that's coming up with that I feel like is paired with that is to just like the Queen of Cups is such a nourishing and nurturing queen, right? She is empathic and she is nourishing and nurturing to her emotions. And I would even go as far as putting that with like the physical body, even though, you know, most people might be like, well, that's earth, right? But the moon is associated with water, is associated with our body. So I feel like this is like being nourishing and nurturing to your inner world, your internal world, your emotional world, and being empathetic and compassionate, being compassionate with yourself, being empathetic with others, you know, and also just being able to come at it from this type of nurturing and nourishing kind of space, right? Like maybe you have some resistance to having these conversations with yourself. And maybe it feels scary, maybe it feels intense, maybe it feels like destabilizing possibly in some way. And it feels like you're maybe going to go into transition, or maybe you're already feeling like you're in this transition, right? And it just kind of like brings it all to the front, right? It's like whenever we look at it, it seems to magnify, but once we sit with it, it starts to like settle down, and we can really get comfortable with like, well, this is what is, right? Instead of pretending like it's not there, we get comfortable with what is there. And I think that one of the ways that we do that is to be compassionate with ourselves, to be compassionate and understanding with ourselves that like, yes, things do change. And maybe if certain things need to change and I need to go in a different direction and it disappoints certain people in my life, family members or whatever it is, then yeah, I'll have to have those conversations, and, you know, I'll do my best to be empathetic with them and to be compassionate and true to myself at the same time, right? And so that's the kind of advice that I feel is like really coming through here. So I hope that this was helpful. If it does feel like it was, please consider giving the video a like. It does help as I'm building the channel. It really does. Helps me with the algorithm and being able to be shown to other people. Also, if you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing that and hitting the notification bell. I will have up on the screen, I'm pretty sure it'll be at least like the first video for the astrological highlights, so that you can just kind of like start to dive right into that. I wasn't really sure as I started recording today, like which video I'd have up, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's what I'm going to do. So be sure to check that out, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.